All right, welcome everyone. I wanted to tell everyone about what I've been doing the last couple of days, which is my new project called FrankenTUI. And so basically what I did was in the past week, I ported three different projects from Python and Golang and TypeScript into Rust. And they're the different um, console rendering libraries. So like rich in Python, all the bubble tea and lip gloss, all the charm libraries for Golang and OpenTUI for TypeScript. And I ported them all to Rust. And then, but my goal was always to sort of combine them, in what I call an unholy alliance. It basically not taking them exactly as is, but taking the best elements and sort of rewriting from scratch in Rust to make what I think is the very best console rendering framework out there. And, in any language, but certainly in Rust. And you can see, like, I literally just started this pretty recently. So this is on January 31st. It's only February 3rd. This is where I tweeted that I locked in the sort of initial plan. And well, now it's essentially done. And so I can actually show it off to you. And I just want to make sure that it's going to work because I recorded this already and it somehow didn't work when I actually switched into the console. So let me just make sure, extremely sure that this is working. Okay, it seems to be working. All right, so I made this kind of crazy demo with as many whiz-bang features as possible, just to really show off all the features and functionality. And so you can see, like, just starting in this lower left corner, like, there's so many like text effects. There's sort of anything you'd want, pulse, or horizontal gradient, animated gradient, rainbow gradient, you know, diagonal gradient, anything you'd ever want, color wave, glow, pulsing glow, it just goes on and on and on. Um, different text effects. Then look at code. So if we hit C, we can go through all the different, there's essentially every popular language has full syntax highlighting. And by the way, the whole thing is themed. So if I do Control T, I can just go through these different themes. Um, and so, okay, so let's just keep going. All right, so this is Shakespeare complete works. This is like a lot of text. And you can just see how fast it is. Like if I look for the word bastard, you can see it's just going through it. This is like every usage of the word bastard in Shakespeare. There's quite a lot of them. Pretty fast. All right, now code. This is all of SQLite as one single file. So you can see this is also extremely long. And you can see, I mean, this is easily running 60 frames per second. And by the way, this is remote. I mean, it's just on a machine right next to me, but I'm running on my Mac and this is on my Linux machine going through WesTerm. So I will show you afterwards. It also works well in Ghosty and also locally on the Mac. All right, all right, brief interruption because my machine ran out of disk space, so I wasted a lot of time talking when it stopped even getting the video. But in any case, here are the widgets. You can see basically it has all the different kinds of widgets you'd ever want to have. Okay, so that's that. Layout, forms, has kind of form validation. If you don't put in a valid email, it won't work, that kind of thing. Data visualization. I mean, this is mostly just, cool to show that it works. But you can do it if you want to. And so anyway, that's that. Okay, now files. This is like actually a pretty nice file viewer with sort of real-time previews, um, syntax highlighting. Pretty nice. Let's see. Yeah, this shows that you could have these like massive things that are sort of rendered in kind of virtual viewport. This is capability detection. for terminals, so you could turn features on or off. There's a little macro recorder, and not sure why you don't necessarily want that, but you have that. Now this is where it gets pretty cool. Markdown. So this is full markdown here. This is actually not just markdown, it's GitHub flavored markdown. And you can see it even renders like LaTeX as Unicode there. And you could probably see that the background here is itself a shader. So it's doing all the sort of compositing and alpha blending kind of live, 60 frames per second, really nice. And again, this is over network. So, and then what's really cool too is in the middle, you can see I made everything so it works with streaming, which is obviously very important in a coding harness. So as it comes in, it's sort of rendering the stuff nicely. So we have that. Okay, now this is just kind of for fun, these visual effects, plasma and this kind of nonsense, fireworks, just to show that it can do it. I mean, it's kind of cool. This definitely works better on your local machine as opposed to through a network, but you can see there's a lot of kind of cool stuff here. Flow fields. I probably went a little too crazy on this stuff. Spiral galaxy. Let's spin lattice. Metaballs. Anyway, you get the idea. All right, so responsive layout. You have to resize the terminal. I'll do that in Ghosty maybe. Log viewer. You do a search for something like let's see. Notifications. Timeline. Sizing. Again, you have to resize your terminal. I don't feel like doing. Pretty nice text editor, all built in, kind of full Unicode and emojis and everything. The rope data structure for efficient operations. Mouse, you may have noticed that I was using my mouse to click around. Very nice kind of mouse support built in here. Let's see. Validate. Just form validation stuff. Oh, virtual search. This is kind of cool. Very fast searching. You have tasks. Anyway, some cool stuff there. Oh yeah, theming with that. I guess we already talked about that, but PC different themes, snapshot, performance odd. I spent a lot of time on performance, and including some like pretty crazy stuff like this, some wild things, for figuring out, how it should render optimally. Okay, so that's Wes term. Now let me just show you Ghosty, so you can just see. I mean, I think it actually looks even cooler in Ghosty. Let me just make sure I'm so paranoid that it's not going to record anymore. All right, so yeah, I mean, we don't need to sort of go through everything again, but you can just see pretty fast. I mean, it's just instantaneous. Um, let's see. Right. So anyway, you get the idea. Let's see. Okay, and then let me show you. So this is on Linux, over the network. This is locally. let's see, what am I doing here? So I have this wacky CRT effect on here, so just ignore that. But again, yeah, you can see nice and fast. I mean, it's even faster here because it's all happening locally. Let me show you the yeah, the visual effects work really well on here. Plasma, fireworks, matrix rain, tunnel, fire, all this kind of nonsense. It's there if you want to play with it. Um, and that's basically about it. And yeah, I mean, look, what I think is so incredible here is that I just started talking about this like a few days ago, right? I mean, this was like, right? Just a couple of days ago, I had the plan. And then I was talking about how I turned it into, you know, the beads. And now it's done. I mean, it's crazy. Like, and look, you can see like this is not a small project, although it's smaller than you might think, because it's so let's get into the numbers. So the whole thing is 330,000 lines of Rust, which is actually kind of a lot, but so much of it is in the demo showcase. So I mean, it's you know, the core of it, the kernel is 24,000 lines. That's really not that much. Um, you know, so it's actually it's extremely highly optimized. Like it really is you know, and it's crazy the way I did that. I mean, first of all, I designed it to be very optimized, but then once I got it all working and passing all its tests, I essentially just started doing this kind of crazy stuff that I do where, you know, that I've been posting about where like I'll tell it, you know, use your like your alien artifact coding to make it more powerful. And, you know, it'll use some crazy math. Um, you know, and the point of all this is I mean, like, people probably don't realize that this is possible. That, like, I mean, these supposed to be these big complex projects, and that are hard. And pretty sure this is the best one in the world right now. And I made it in a couple days. So how is that possible? And and then the next step is like, well, what are these things really useful for? Is coding harnesses. And so I'm actually also porting um, PyAgent into Rust, and that's happening over on this machine, and it's almost done. And you know, this is actually using my own. I decided instead of just doing like a straight port where we just use kind of normal libraries like Tokyo and stuff for all the async and network, I decided to use my own kind of crazy um, project called a supersync, and which is like a complete replacement not just for Tokyo but for like literally the entire Tokyo ecosystem, like everything, and ground up. And so I don't even, you know, I use this for everything in that project. And but and there's a lot of other cool stuff. But then once I have that port of PyAgent done, I'm actually going to make what I've been calling Franken code, which is I'm going to take the PyAgent port, and then I'm also going to bring in things like codecs, and I'm going to take the best of all of them and sort of like ground up, reimagine it, except in addition to using a supersync, it's going to also use FrankenTUI. And so it's going to have all that going for it. And I'm also going to have it fully integrated, you know, with all my tools, like which would be very cool, to have all my agent tooling kind of baked right in there. I mean, it'll be very extensible, and you know, it's going to work with all of the extensions that are already exist for PyAgent, and it'd be very easy to make new ones. But And I hope to have all that done in the next couple days. Like that's how fast I'm moving. And it's all just because, you know, I'm using the right approach with the right tooling and the right prompts, the right workflows. And I just, you know, I use a lot of tokens, and I have just figured out how to do this stuff in a kind of effective way. And it just kind of works. And so anyway, that's it. Hope you like it.